All right, guys, I just spent 2 weeks living in this 2019 Tiffin Allegro Red on the road, changing sites every single day, just about. And I really have nothing but great things to say about it. And a video about great things to say is not a video worth watching, I'm sure, because I could point out 40,000 things that I liked, and it's not that exciting because everything worked and it did what it's supposed to do. But what I can tell you are the things that I didn't really like. Now, first off, I did not buy this motorhome, okay? Now, while I was traveling, I made a list of things that I've had issues with or weren't working or thought could be improved. Had I bought this, or if I did own this, these are some improvements I would probably be looking to do, or I would try to incorporate in some way. I'm going to go with the top 8 things I think the Red could have used, or things that could be changed in order to make it a little bit more user-friendly. No, it's not in any particular order. I'll just start at one area and work our way around it all using my list here. What I want to say first is I really enjoyed my time. This was a perfect motorhome for what I wanted to do. It was a short diesel, had all the power in the world to tow, move, maneuver. The floor plan in here was fantastic. It worked great, and I would really easily recommend this motorhome to anyone. I mean, I'm already a Tiffin fan, so that doesn't, I guess, surprise anybody. But first thing on my list is actually right above my head. I really like this ceiling light package that they put together. In fact, I pointed out how beautiful it looked that you don't normally get on an entry-level diesel like this. But what I would say is these accent lights right there turn on with the normal ceiling lights. I would have really liked the way to just turn on the accent lights and not the ceiling lights. So if I were to go ahead and turn off the ceiling light, that ceiling light, all the lights turn off, including the ones not in this package. So even these side lights over here turn off. I would have liked to have that accent light as a separate light. I think that would have been more useful. Now, when we're talking about light, and I'm going to be talking about lights a lot on this one, I think. So these dinette lights work just fine, along with the galley lights. But if you'll notice over here, there's no light switches underneath any of this right here. So in order to actually operate these lights, you can't do it from the dinette. You have to come over here to the driver's side, hit those buttons, or come all the way down the hallway to the touch panel there, and then operate the lights right there. So that would be passenger slide out. You could do from there. And then task is the other one under the cabinets. So I think it would have been better. It would have been nice to have a switch plate like this right behind the dinette there, or here. When I was doing the walkthrough on this, or the show around, I showed that they had USBs everywhere, and I pointed this out. This is actually a really bad place for a USB. I mean, it's there. I'm not going to complain. It's nice to have, but if you actually plug in, you have to run the cord over the seat onto the table. If you're going to put a USB, they should have just put one right there or on the wall right there. That way it could be on the table. Just knick-knacky things. But speaking of USBs, I did like the USBs that they gave us. The passenger had a USB right there. There's another one right there. And another one right here. But if you've noticed on all those USBs, there's a blue light right there. That's pretty and that's cool. But anybody that's had a bright blue light shining on their face when it's dark outside knows how bright that blue light gets. If you were to lose this, there's no way to get rid of that blue light. And that's a pretty bright blue light, especially because there's 3 of them. That one, and that one. Now again, speaking of lights at night, something I would never have thought of even as a tech until I lived in it, is this microwave light. This is a really bright light. Like, way too bright. It's a better night light than this light down below. So that's really unfortunate. So usually all we did at night was unplug it from the cabinet. We could have tripped the breaker, but that's hard to see at night. It's easy to do this in the dark. Maybe there's a setting on the microwave. I don't know. I didn't really bother looking into it. But it's surprising how bright that is. Usually it's just segments, and you can see the segments. Doesn't have to be backlit like that. Like I said, this is going to be fairly light specific. It seems like all my complaints are. Is actually going to be on the ceiling inside here. Let me go ahead and turn off the rest of the lights. Ceiling galley hall task. Sorry, I still see. I can't turn the dinette lights off there or these lights. I have to do it either here. All right. So now we have the entry lights that are on. It does light up these light bars and that light bar right there. Go ahead and turn that off. So now all those lights are off, right? Now this is set up so when you open up the entry door, it turns those lights on. It turns on the handle lights right there and right there. Initially, I would have thought that's a great safety feature, like a car. When you open up the car door or unlock it, it turns on the lights so you can come up the stairway safely. However, if somebody's sleeping in here and you need to go out front door, you're going to blind everybody because those lights turn on automatically. They do time out, but by that time they've already been woken up. I wish there was a way to disable that feature. Maybe there is. Maybe Tiffin has that feature disabled. I didn't find a switch for that. But of course you can still hit the switch right there and that would turn the lights off. But the only way to do that would be that switch there. Or again all the way back here and hit light entry. So my last 3 complaints are going to be non-light related finally, okay? The first one's pretty easy and straightforward. The exhaust brake switch is right there. The exhaust brake worked fantastic. I really enjoyed having that as an option. But if I close this armrest right here, and I'm sitting here like I'm driving down the road, I don't know if you guys can see this. Of all the switches right there, this is the one I can't see because the armrest is blocking it from my viewpoint. And it's really kind of scary when you need that exhaust brake if you want it on or off to either have to lift up the armrest or kind of take your eye off the road to take a look at it. It's a pretty easy fix too, and I would have done this. So probably move this switch into that position so it's really easy to see, or over to there. Really simple. These switches are you can move those wherever you want. So that's an easy solution. But I'm going to give you another complaint that I think a lot of RVers might be happy to hear me complain about this because I've been in this for 25 years and I've never had this concern, even though I guess I should have. This wiper knob switch is garbage. I always pointed out that this is the intermittent and this is how you actually turn the wipers on and off. This is a tiny little knob to try to turn with your fingers driving down the road. If your fingers are cold or wet, it's even harder to operate. I guess I never really appreciated that until my fingers were cold, wet, and I needed the wipers on. For all you RVers out there that have had that complaint, I feel you, and I don't know why the industry is still using that. Maybe we need to complain more. Now my last main complaint is going to be in the bathroom. So the bathroom functionality-wise worked perfectly. This toilet had more than enough room. The countertop, more than enough space on there to do everything we needed to do. There's more than enough storage in this bathroom. Okay. The shower, I always had concerns was going to be a little bit small. And it was a little small. I expected that. But I was hoping that shower seat would add some more room than it really did. So there's really obviously not a lot of room to stand, but it is an ample amount of room because it is a neo-angle shower. But this seat takes up a lot of room. I was hoping that I'd be able to sit down, but because the factory installed this faucet with these great big long handles, you can't really sit down because those go straight into your back and it hurts. All the real estate is just the floor. I would have rather not have a seat or have a different faucet so that I could use a seat. I mean, I wanted to use a seat. This should either be a single handle faucet or they should have put it up higher and definitely used shorter handles. Now again, that's just you get from living in it and using it. If I had owned this or bought it or if it was mine, that'd be one of the first things I changed out too. The last thing, which would be the second thing I would change out, is right here. These door handles are very, very frustrating. They're pretty and they work fine and they're easy to grab, but they don't have a little a nub on the base of it to keep it from twisting. So wood being the way it does, it expands and contracts and these handles get loose. All of them get loose. I was constantly tightening these things up. These should have a bigger base on it with two little piercing nubs to keep those from twisting. All right, so there it was, guys. My list of items on this 2019 Allegro Red that I wish were a little different and things I think could have used improvements on after spending 2 weeks living in it. Like I said, this was absolutely a dream. I had no problems whatsoever in the sense of my vacation was ruined. There were just a few little items that I had to fix. There's some videos right there if you want to see them. But nicky-nacky stuff for the most part. Like I said, most of this was just lighting issues. And as a tech, it's something I never think about either because I don't ever spend the nights in them very often. But thanks a lot for watching, guys. I appreciate it. By the way, was that 8 items? I'll have to count that up. It might have been like 10. If it's 10, let me make it. I'll make it 10. Tiffin does give you a TV up front and another TV right here. I understand why they do that. You can't watch this TV driving down the road because the slide out's in the way over the front of it. So they give you the TV up there. But this is a problem on a lot of RVs, not just Tiffin. So if you get the remote and you want to watch TV, point it at that TV, turn that TV on. Yeah, that TV turned on, but so did that one. But of course that one turns on too. So if I want to turn this one off, I turn that one off. That gets very, very frustrating when you're trying to just watch TV. Of course, there's a fix. I could unplug this TV right here, and that way this one won't turn on. Or I can put a piece of tape. Ultimately, I just stood here and always put my hand over this one. I was trying to operate that one. So that one's frustrating. It's not a deal breaker, though. I mean, we hardly use the TV anyways. But when we did use it, that was frustrating. So there it is, guys. My top 10 list of things, frustrating items that I found on this 2019 Allegro Red from Tiffin. My fingers were cold, wet, and I needed the wipers on. And I needed the wipers on. I'll give you a list in no particular order. It's not a very big list. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4,